Today's topic is mass defect. In the previous class, mass defect. What is mass defect? The difference between total mass of all the nucleons and actual mass of nucleus. What is the definition? The difference between total mass of all the nucleons and actual mass of them. What are nucleons? Protons and neutrons. So if you take individually proton mass, individually neutron mass, if I suppose proton mass is mp, neutron mass is mn, multiply this proton mass with the number of protons, multiply with neutron mass with the number of neutrons, this is sum them. This will give mass of all the nucleons. After this, if you calculate the exact mass of the nucleus, how to calculate exact mass? So the exact mass will be calculated with atomic spectroscopy method and various collision methods, scattering method. So some practical methods are there to determine. This is actual mass. This is only the mass calculated on the paper. The difference between these two values will call as mass defect. Why this defect is coming? That will be discussed in the coming topic. So mass defect is nothing but the difference between total mass of all the nucleons and actual mass of nucleus. So I'll write in detail formula for mass defect. We know the number of protons in a nucleus is nothing but atomic number, because nucleus will be represented like this, XZE. Number of protons are Z. Number of neutrons, A minus Z. Number of neutrons, A minus Z. Number of protons is Z. Number of neutrons is A minus Z. Then total mass of nucleons, total mass of all the nucleons, this is equals Z into mass of each proton I will take as mp plus number of neutrons A minus Z into mn. This is total. Next, actual mass, if you take actual mass of the nucleus is capital M, then mass defect delta M is equal to Z into mp plus A minus Z into mn. This is what? Total mass of nucleus minus actual mass. So this is the formula for mass defect. This mass defect, if you take mp, mn and k in AMUs, then this also will get in AMUs. Suppose if you have taken grams, then this will be also in grams. Suppose if you are taking in, so this is what mass defect. The difference between, what is this? Total mass of all the nucleons and actual mass of the nucleus. is known as mass defect. So mass defect is also a mass. That's why I have written the units of mass. Then our concentration is why we are getting this defect. Why we are getting this effect. In the previous topic, we have discussed about mass energy equivalence. That is, mass can be converted into energy, energy can be converted into mass. Here, what we are going to discuss, this amount of defect of mass is converted into energy. That energy we are calling as binding energy. Then why this binding energy is utilized, we will discuss. Actually, binding energy is our topic. Binding energy. Binding energy. Binding energy. So the definition says here, the energy required, to break the nucleus, into its constituent particles. Constituent particles means protons and neutrons. Energy required to break the nucleus into its constituent particles is known as binding energy. But are you really breaking the nucleus? Yes, if it is necessary, you have to break the nucleus. In our simple way, we can understand this binding energy concept in a different method. What is that? We know what are the particles present in the nucleus. Those are not nucleons, protons and neutrons. Protons and neutrons. All are together within the nucleus. See, there are number of protons and number of protons. As per Coulomb law, proton must repel. Of course, neutron is neutron, but proton must repel each other. By avoiding the repulsion, they able to stick together within the nucleus. They are present within the nucleus. How it is possible? That means somebody are holding them together. That is, somebody are influencing there to not to come out. Who is that somebody? Binding energy. So here, binding energy is nothing but the energy required to hold all the nucleons together within the nucleus. That also we can treat it as a definition. Binding energy is nothing but what? The energy required to hold all the nucleons together within the nucleus is called binding energy. Then from where this energy is coming for us? In the earlier topic, we got mass defect. Whatever the defect means, what is the difference is there in the mass of actual and calculated. That is nothing but total mass of the nucleons and the actual mass of the nucleus. That difference of mass is converting into energy. What is the purpose of this? Because we have to hold down all the nucleons together. So that energy we are calling here as binding energy. So as per mass energy relation, from Einstein equation, from mass energy relation, what is E is equals to mc square. E is equal to mc square. Then binding energy is equal to delta m, that is mass defect into c square. Delta m into c square. What is delta m? Mass defect. What is c? Velocity of light. So here you will get the answer in joules if you take delta m in kgs. Okay. Now the same I can write. We know 1 AMU mass is equals to 931.5 MeV. 1 AMU mass is 931.5 MeV, mega electron volts. Suppose mass defect you have taken in AMUs, then delta M AMUs will give how much of energy? So binding energy is equal to mass defect into 931.5 MeV. This is the other formula for binding energy. So binding energy is nothing but energy required to split the nucleus or break the nucleus into constant particles. As well as we can discuss binding energy is also what? Energy required to hold all the nucleons together. If binding energy is more, then the nucleons will be together within the nucleus. Now we will discuss about two things here after this, that is packing fraction and binding fraction. Why these two things? These two things will say about the stability of the nucleus. Stability of the nucleus. So the next topic is packing fraction. Packing fraction. Packing fraction. Packing fraction. F. Packing fraction symbol is F. Packing fraction formula F is equal to actual mass of the nucleus minus mass number by mass. This is the packing fraction. In the other way, you can also discuss F is equal to delta M by mass defect by. What is M? Actual mass. Actual mass. This is mass number. This is mass number. This is mass defect. Now, with this factor, packing fraction, how can you discuss the stability of the nucleus? First of all, what is stability? Stability is nothing but if a nucleus is strong means if you want to break it, it is not possible easily. In the same way, it cannot emit any radiations from it. So those kind of nuclei are called stable nuclei. Now, in case of stable nuclei, if it is highly stable, F value is low. If F is low or negative or 0, if the F value is when it is negative, if M value is less than the actual mass is less than of mass number, then it is a stable nucleus, highly stable or more stable nucleus. So here we are getting some negative value, means the actual mass is less than the mass number, so some mass is missing here. So that mass is converting into energy. So that energy is holding the nucleons together. So if F is low or negative or 0, it is a more stable nucleus. When you get F is positive, that packing fraction is positive, it is unstable nucleus. This implies less stable nucleus. So this is the significance of packing fraction. Packing fraction can be calculated in two ways, first formula and second formula. If F is low, it is highly stable. If F is high, it will be less. So packing fraction is inversely proportional to stability of the nucleus. What is the conclusion? Packing fraction, F is inversely proportional to stability of nucleus. Stability of the nucleus. This is what packing fraction. And the next topic is binding fraction. Binding fraction is nothing but binding energy per nucleon, Be by A. Binding fraction is nothing but Be by A. The previous one is mass defect fraction, that is delta M by A, that is called packing fraction. Binding fraction What is binding fraction? Average binding energy or binding energy per nucleon. Binding energy per nucleon. Binding energy per nucleon. Binding energy per nucleon is called binding fraction. So here we will calculate binding fraction. What is the formula? Whatever I have written here. Binding energy by mass number. Binding energy per mass number. What is binding energy formula in terms of mass defect? Mass defect into 931.5 is the binding energy by mass. This is megaelectron. This is binding fraction or binding energy per nucleon. If binding fraction is more, if Be by A, binding fraction is more or high, this value is high, binding fraction is high, this implies the nucleus is stable, highly stable. This implies stability is high. Okay. If the binding energy per nucleon is less or low, then stability is also low. Stability is less or least. So whereas in case of packing fraction, we have discussed, if packing fraction is low, stability will be more. If packing fraction is high, stability will be less. But here exactly opposite. If binding energy is more, stability is high. If binding energy is low, stability is least. So what is the conclusion here? Binding energy is directly proportional to stability of the nucleus. Binding energy is binding energy per nucleon, not binding energy per nucleon is directly proportional to stability of nucleus, whereas packing fraction F is inversely proportional to stability of the nucleus. These are the two conclusions. We will discuss about a simple statement also here. I have some two nuclei here. First nuclei, atomic number Z1, A1. Second nucleus, Z2, A2. Now, the binding energy per nucleon here, or binding fraction I will write. Binding fraction in the first case is Be1, binding energy by its mass number. Here binding fraction is Be2 by A2. So if I want to discuss which is high stable, which is less, if B1 by A1 is greater than B2 by A2, then this first element, first nucleus, one is stable nucleus with respect to second nucleus compared to one. So in this way, we can discuss compare about the stability of the different nuclei. Now the next topic is binding energy curve. Very, very important. Binding energy curve. Okay. in this binding energy curve, we'll draw a graph. Between mass number and binding fraction. Mass number and binding fraction. Mass number is taken on x-axis. Binding energy per nucleon, that is binding fraction, is taken on y-axis. The graph will get like this. Okay. Now looking this graph, what I'll get? This is some characteristic shape. I'll represent some elements here. Here lithium, sodium, fluorine I will take here. Helium, carbon, oxygen. Starts from 40 and up to here the graph is almost constant, 180, and this is ferrous. Now looking this graph, the variation of binding fraction, that is nothing but average binding energy per nucleon with respect to mass number. Mass number is taken on x-axis. B by A means average binding energy is taken on y-axis. So if we draw the graph between these two factors, the shape of the graph is like this. So here we have to know one thing. Almost here I will start H12. What about hydrogen? Hydrogen H11. So no binding energy is required because it consists only one proton. Now my graph starts with deuterium H1. So what are the conclusions this binding energy curve gives? The first conclusion is Be by A is least for H12, that is deuterium. B by A is least for H12. What is its value now? Approximately 1.1 mega electron volts. This is the first conclusion I am going to write. Next. Second one, B by A value is maximum for this ferrous 2856. Atomic number is 28, mass number is 56. For this it is maximum, and its value is 8.75 mega electron volts. Minimum value possessed by deuterium H12. Maximum value is possessed by ferrous 2856, 8.75 mega electron volts. And the next thing, third thing. Now, for elements mass number in between 180 and 40. So see the graph almost, of course it is not a straight line, it is almost constant. Okay. So for these elements almost mass numbers 40 to 180, B by A is almost equal, almost same. So these are all stable elements I can consider. Whatever present the mass numbers 40 to 180, those are stable elements, stable in nuclei I can consider. Then fourth point, what is the fourth point here? If if A is less than 40 or 30, if A is less than 40 or 30, there is some characteristics, means the graph is not uniform. Suddenly it is peak and low, peak and low. If A is less than, see the elements lithium, nitrogen and fluorine. Lithium, what I will write? Helium, lithium 3, 6. Nitrogen 7, 14. Fluorine 9, 18. So here what we are observing? Odd number of protons. Odd number of protons. What about neutron number? 6 minus 3, 3. 14 minus 7, 7, 8, 9. So they will have odd protons and odd neutrons. These are less stable. Less stable. Less stable, how can you say? See, these are the minima in the graph. They are downward side. They are at the downward side. Next, fifth point I am going to discuss here. Helium, carbon, oxygen. Helium, He24. Next, carbon, C612. Oxygen, 816. What you are observing here? Even number of protons. Neutrons also even. So even protons, even neutrons. So these are more high stable. These are high stable. Okay. What is the first point? Binding energy per nucleon is least for deuterium. Maximum for ferrous 2856, that is 8.75. In between the mass numbers 40 and 180, the curve is almost uniform. So those are almost stable nuclei. And the next one, if mass number is less than 30, the stability will depend upon odd or even combination of protons or neutrons. That is, if odd protons, odd neutrons are there, they are less stable. If even are there, proton and neutrons, they are high stable. And one more thing after this, what is that? If mass number is greater than 180, after this, what is happening? The graph is falling drastically. So if A is greater than 180, if A is greater than 180, this is our sixth point, the graph is falling. So stability of the nucleus will be less. Stability is less as mass increases. After A number is increasing after 180. The stability is decreasing. Stability is decreasing. So these are the different points we have discussed here about binding energy curve. Okay. Here our topic is what? Exoergic reaction. I think in chemistry also we might have discussed about exoergic reaction. And a chemical reaction in which energy is released here also, but I am not talking with respect to atom, I am speaking about with respect to nucleus. A nuclear reaction, in a nuclear reaction, it is a nuclear reaction in which energy is released. Energy is released. Here example is nuclear fission process. Nuclear fission process. Of course, we will discuss about nuclear fission later. So in this exoergic reaction, this is a definition. Nuclear reaction in which energy is released. So I am taking a simple example, not it as an example. A comma B are the two different nuclei, and A comma B are participating in reaction, and they are producing C comma D and some energy. So this A comma B are called reactants. A comma B are called reactants. C comma D are called products. and this is energy released. Energy released. Energy released. When this energy will be released, if mass of reactants is greater than mass of products, if some mass is converting into energy. So here mass defect. So what is converting into energy? That is only mass defect is equal to mass of A plus B minus mass of C plus B. Mass of A plus B minus mass of C plus D. Indirectly, mass defect is equal to mass of reactants minus mass of products. Then delta M is equal to, what are reactions? Mass of A plus mass of B minus of mass of C plus mass of D. Mass of C plus mass of D. So what is the condition for exoergic reaction? Mass of reactants must be greater than mass of products. The delta M is equal to mass of reactants minus mass of products, that is MA plus MB minus of MC plus MDD. So energy released here, energy released, Q is equals to delta M into C square. Delta M into C square. You can take in joules or in electron volts, whatever the thing you can discuss. So Q is equals to delta M into C square, or you can write this energy is delta M into 931.5 MeV, mega electron volts. In this case, binding energy of products will be greater than binding energy of reactants, because here you will get more energy, here you will get less energy. So binding energy of products minus. So the energy released, you can also write binding energy of products minus binding energy of reactants. So this Q you can also write. So here I think it is not visible. Yeah, here I will write. Binding energy of products is greater than binding energy of reactants. Binding energy of products means products are what? C comma D. Binding energy of C comma D, that is binding energy of C comma D is greater than binding energy of A plus B. Binding energy of A comma B. So total binding energy, I can write binding energy is binding energy of products minus binding energy of. So in exoergic reaction, what is the thing you need to observe? Mass defect delta M is equal to the mass of reactants minus mass of products. In this way you can find out the energy released. And the other way, you can also write energy released. Here products binding energy is more than reactants binding energy. That's why binding energy of products minus binding energy of reactants. Products binding energy of C plus binding energy of D minus of binding energy of A plus binding energy of B. Put in brackets. So this is what completely exoergic reaction. Exoergic reaction. Thank you.